Welcome back to Phoenix Friday 34. We're going to be doing Dick Gumshoe testimony.
Actually, the victim kind of ordered the defendant to do him in. A few days before it happened, the victim sent a letter ordering his own murder. The defendant did what was asked of him and shot the old man in the forehead. The bullet was fired from the pistol found at the scene, no doubt about it. And the pistol definitely belonged to the old man, sir. What? You're saying the victim ordered his own shooting?
Those are the facts. I have here the letter in question.
To my beloved student, Zach. To you I entrust. Very unusual indeed.
Yeah, here we go. To my I'll do an older voice. To my beloved student, Zach. To you I entrust the task of lowering my life's curtain. Come on the 13th, 11:05 p.m. Holding a gun with which you will shoot. One shot, square in the forehead. You cannot refuse. And we both know the reason why. Thank you for your Grammarly. Here's a photo. And I've enough time to look at it.
Although, could such a thing as a letter really cause one to pull a trigger, I wonder?
I believe the answer to that question could be found at the end of the letter.
Ah! You cannot refuse! And we both know the reason why! Detective Gumshoe, can you explain this to the court? Fortunately, even the defendant won't say a peep about that bit, sir. One thing bothers me about this. Why didn't he just say 11? Why have him come at 11:05 without some specific reason?
The devil is in the details there, attorney.
Well, was there some reason?
As it turns out, there was. Every night for a half hour starting at 11, the victim, Magnifique Memory, was given an IV.
An IV?
Or 4.
There it is in the picture, off to the side of the bed.
At 11, a doctor would come in to set up the IV. 13 minutes later, he would come back for the empty bag. This happened every night, without fail.
So that was the only time they could meet without the chance of an untimely interruption. During his IV...
During his IV.
During his IV. Very well, shall we begin? If you're right, your cross-examination if you would. What's this reason he couldn't refuse, I wonder? He could have at least mentioned it to me.
Actually, the victim kind of ordered the defendant to do him in.
Just because he got the letter doesn't mean he went through with it.
Oh, I disagree. The victim was indeed shot in the forehead after all, just as he had commanded.
Could be a setup. Well, let's not be in such a hurry. Maybe we should let the witness talk for a change. Thanks, pal.
Fine. I can play it slow as well as I can play fast. On with the testimony, Detective Gumshoe. A few days before it happened, the victim sent a letter ordering his own murder.
And this letter was sent by the victim. There it is. Gotcha! Yeah, I'll mind this time, pal. Huh? I had the handwriting checked out, of course. It's the victim's. No mistake. I see. Score one for the boys. Score one for the boys. I didn't lose. I was just ascertaining the facts. Why am I so annoyed? But a letter ordering your own death? Things aren't what they used to be, I guess. I'm not sure this is exactly commonplace even now, Your Honor. So anyway, guess I'll keep going while I'm ahead.
The defendant did what was asked of him and he shot the old man in the forehead.
How can you be so sure? Hey, you gotta learn to stop relying on people to do your thinking for you, pal. Learn to think for yourself. Get that noggin cranking. You fail to grasp the concept of questioning, Detective. First, we got this letter. It says, shoot, in the forehead, loud and clear. I can see that, but I still wouldn't do it. Well, maybe you need to grow yourself a backbone, pal. You fail to grasp the concept of shooting people is bad, detective. We also found the defendant's pistol at the scene.
Traces of gunpowder residue shows that it has been fired recently.
Well, Mr. Wright, as far as I can tell from looking at this photo, there seems to be no issue with the prosecution's claim. Photo. Maybe there's something in there I can use.
Alright, let's take a look. That's my badge. Let's look at your badge. Nope.
Have we always been able to look at the back?
We could throughout this entire game, yeah, I could have, but
we never did.
In the first trilogy, it was only in Rise from the Ashes. I could have done that. And I did.
Okay. Each turnspat has a number engraved on the back. No two numbers are the same. If you drop it, we'll know it was you. Better make sure I don't lose mine.
Alright.
Alright, so what I notice here is there's a bullet in the clown!
Oh, that's all I need to know. Fuck!
So they're saying the defendant shot the victim in the forehead. That gives a hole in the prosecution's argument. Clearly, Mr. Enigmar shot something else. Looking at this photo, another possibility occurs to me. Yes? What does the letter tell us? That if the defendant had a reason he couldn't refuse? His teacher's wishes. Bingo, pal! That's why the defendant popped him one in the forehead. Oh? The defense disagrees. You see, the defendant had another choice he could make.
And you can prove that's with this photo.
I can prove he had a choice, yes. The defendant might have fired like he was ordered, but he didn't shoot the victim's forehead. Well, let's hear what you're thinking, Mr. Wright. If he didn't shoot the victim's forehead, what did the defendant shoot? A syringe full of heroin!
Oh! Clown.
The clown doll? Take a closer look. See? It's been shot in the forehead, too. Ah! There's a hole in its forehead. Dear Liza, dear Liza, there is. Yes, and a hole in the prosecution's claim.
And I suppose you have a reason as to why he shoot the clown doll.
He didn't just shoot the doll. He shot the doll's forehead.
His forehead. Ah!
Let's read the orders once more, shall we? You will shoot one shot square in the forehead, which is exactly what he did. He shot the clown doll square in the forehead. The defense has raised an intriguing possibility. That hole in the clown's forehead, it definitely looks like it was shot. Bailiff, send someone to investigate this matter.
I admit, I'm impressed, but I expected nothing less.
That rhymes.
Still, I'm a lyricist. Still, this doesn't mean he didn't shoot the victim.
Perhaps he did have to shoot a forehead as ordered. The letter says nothing about whose forehead. This was the only way he had to follow his orders without taking a life. The bullet hole in the clown doll's forehead does demand an explanation. It might very well be a clue. Yet Prosecutor Gavin is right. It alone does not prove the defendant's innocence. You cannot say for sure the defendant didn't shoot the victim.
So sorry, Mr. Wright. How sad it is to see the mighty fall.
How sad it is to see the novice's overconfidence. He doesn't realize just how big this little hole is going to get. Detective Gumshoe, please take this newfound fact into account as you continue your testimony. So what if he shot the clown? He still shot the victim, pal. So let me get this straight. You're saying my client first shot the clown, then shot the victim? Hey, not a bad summary, pal. More of a confirmation than a summary, but whatever.
It was really more of a confirmation than a summary. But defense attorney seems to be pleased enough with himself.
Do these people ever miss a chance to mock me?
Well, now that Mr. Wright's gotten that out of his system, shall we continue with the testimony?
I didn't have time to gather all the details before coming in here. His testimony might be my only source of information. Better pay attention and read this letter carefully.
Alright, so what do you want me to do? We go through the evidence.
It doesn't say anything about how many like bullets were in the gun. I feel like that would be a dead giveaway.
Let's see right here. The bullet was fired from the pistol at the scene of the crime, no doubt about it.
You mean this pistol?
Pistol?
This pistol? You mean this pistol? The one in the crime scene photo? That's the one! It's a funny looking gun, so there's no mistaking it.
You compared the bullets taken from the victim's skull with a bullet fired from this gun. The rifle marks on the bullets were a perfect match.
So, you verified the murder weapon, in other words. You bet we did. And the pistol definitely belonged to the old man, sir. Why are you so certain? What pile of sand has your head been stuck in all this time, pal? You never heard of Zack and Valent's quick draw shoot 'em? Huh? What's that? One of the defendant's specialties. Zack and Valent stand on either side of a gun. Then they shoot! The bullets don't hit her. Instead, they hit everything else on stage. This was one of the pistols they used in their show. Got a great design, huh? The kids love it.
Many boys and girls joined the police because of that pistol I hear.
You know, that would explain a lot about the police force. Troop Grandma stopped doing that act a while ago. The old man held on to that pistol ever since. The court would like to see the pistol in question. You got it, sir. Here she is. Well, this truly is a blast from the past. It's a stage pistol for magic shows, see? But it can fire real bullets. It looks so much bigger in real life than on TV. Yeah, but it can only hold one round. By the way, the pistol's firing chamber is empty. And it shows traces of having been fired recently. So, were any fingerprints found on the gun?
Unfortunately, no. Of course, the defendant is known for wearing gloves. You might say that the lack of fingerprints is, in fact, a fingerprint of its own. Aha!
Intriguing point well made. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Not well made. Not intriguing. In any case, the court accepts this evidence. Stage missile fires one real bullet.
Barrel marks match bullet found in victim. No fingerprints found.
My grandchild would get a kick out of seeing this. But now it's time to return to our testimony.
Alright, now what do we want to do?
Okay, next statement.
That's the last statement.
Oh.
This is the new statement.
So what if he shot the clown? He still shot the victim, pal.
But what if he didn't? He had one bullet, but they both got shot twice.
Good enough, yeah.
Trickiest cases often seem the simplest. Prosecutor Gavin, you missed the bullet hole in the clown's forehead. If you hadn't missed that, you might have come to a very different conclusion. Understand? Yeah, but like I just said, pal, after he shot the clown in the forehead, he went and did nothing of the sort to the victim. The pistol proves he could not. The murder weapon? How? It's quite simple, Your Honor. This pistol only holds one bullet at a time. If he had shot the clown in the forehead, he couldn't have shot the victim too. Yeah!
That's not a contradiction. Not even close. All he had to do was reload the pistol after the first shot.
Oh, where'd you get the extra bullet? They're not so easy to come by, you know. If you claim the defendant had one ready, then prove it to us how he got it.
I had a feeling this wasn't over yet. No, this party's just getting started. And I haven't proven anything yet, beyond my good looks. and suddenly reconciles.
An utter lack of humility. What's this? Seems that the prosecution has another witness prepared.
Like I said, our detective was just the warm-up act.
Ugh.
Now that the audience has gotten the taste of what's to come, they're ready.
Ready for what?
For my decisive witness, of course. A witness who you will find can prove one thing for us. That it was Zach Gregory who shot the victim in the forehead.
Very well. We will pause for a 15-minute recess. This might be my lucky break. I'll need that 15 minutes to talk to my client, Zach. Court is adjourned.
He's gone now. He's gone.
For the rest of the game?
Yes.
No.
He's gone. It's okay.
That's all we get?
That's all we get. It's okay.
No, certainly he comes back in, like, when we go back into the present time, right?
Maybe he'll come back eventually. Whether that be within this game or
That's really it for his game.
in the next game. Okay, man. It's okay. It's alright. But you're like his replacement. Penis blowjob. Very impressive, Mr. Wright. I have to say, I expected nothing less.
We've only just begun. I was hoping you could tell me a bit more about what happened, actually.
I did not think you would believe me if I told you. Better that you discover the truth for yourself. I was thinking of you, you know.
I think we need less thinking and more talking. That night in the hospital, what really happened?
Ah, the way your eyes gleam, Mr. Wright. You're scared Trucy.
Speaking of which, where is she?
You have seen the problem yourself. The letter.
The one shot in the forehead one, right?
Yes, and the reason he speaks of. I could not deny my mentor's wishes, even if it meant my own death.
Why not?
This is something I will not say. For now, at least.
What's this for now business?
I have done many things in my life. Some well, some poorly. But this is a cross we must bear alone to our graves.
We?
You want to know about the night of the night of the incident?
Finally, this guy sure likes to take his time getting to the important stuff.
Of course. I have no intention of shooting my mentor. I snuck into his room that night at the appointed time. And found there upon his bedside table 2 pistols.
2?
Yes. The one I had used on stage. And the one that had been used by my partner, VALANT.
Oh, for the Zach and Valant quick draw thing?
My mentor had the look of one sleeping. I stood by his bedside, hearing only the light sound of his breathing. Then I took the pistol into my hand. I cannot deny that my resolve faltered then, for a moment.
You faltered? You mean you thought about shooting him?
Recall there was a reason I could not refuse his request. His last such request, though not his first.
So there were other requests you couldn't refuse before?
To be honest, I've not always been steadfast, and I fear I've brought pain upon Trucy.
Was Magnifi coercing his disciples somehow? Is what was going on in Troop Grammary?
Yet, in the end, I did not shoot him. Instead, I turned and shot the clown! I took the pistol I fired and placed it in my pocket.
In your pocket?
I believe if you examine the bullet in the clown's head, you will find it to be different than the one in my mentor. What were those called?
Rifling marks?
Yes! Well, that is all I have to tell you concerning the case.
Concerning the case? You mean there's something else you can tell me?
Ha ha ha! You are a fascinating man, Mr. Wright.
Thanks.
Yes, there is something. My mentor. His eyes opened.
What? Magnifi Grammary?
The old devil. He was not asleep, you see. Of course, the gunshot would have woken him anyway. And there we had our last discussion as mentor and pupil. It was not a long discussion, maybe 5-10 minutes or so.
What did you talk about?
Haha, Mr. Wright. Did I not just tell you? It does not concern this case.
Zach Gregory. Seems pretty steadfast to me. Or maybe just stubborn.
Mr. Wright, your presence is requested in the courtroom. Once again, I am in your hands.
Right. Let's get back in there. Court is now back in session.
During a recess, a bullet was found in and dug out of the cloud's head.
Well, this is news in the rifling marks.
There wasn't time to do a detailed analysis, though they did find the weapon type matches the murder weapon.
Well, that's not very conclusive, is it?
Which is why I'm about to call my very decisive witness.
Your decisive witness? How many times have I heard those words? Though they often turn out to be far less decisive than you think.
Oh, don't worry on my account. I'm quite confident that this witness will do the job. After all, he is intimately acquainted with the players in our little production, being the other half of True Grammy's famous duo, Zach and Valant.
Valant Grammary? So, we get to meet the great Magnifi's other disciple?
Perhaps we'll start by asking your name and occupation. Valant Grammary. Magician.
You're the decisive witness, are you? You can prove your fellow student your partner's guilt?
Fate. The grand illusion, filled with traps and tricks.
Wait, the shooting took place in that hospital after 11 o'clock at night. If you're a witness, does that mean you were there that late?
If one were to deduce this logically, the conclusion is yes!
Okay. I always get the characters, don't I?
I have an interesting fact for you. You see, several days before the crime, my witness received this.
That looks very familiar. Wait, that's the same letter Zach Gregory received.
Yes! Or perhaps I should say, ta-da!
Order, order, order. And what does it say? Surely not the same thing.
Perhaps you should see for yourself.
Why, it's practically the same. Court accepts this into evidence.
Magnifi's second letter telling Valant to come at 11:20
p.m. This is most unusual. Exactly what was going on with you folks? What exactly was your troop here up to?
By which you mean?
I'm just having trouble envisioning a man who would ask his students to kill him. Both of them, no less.
It's just my opinion there, Judge. But from these letters, I'd say he was coercing them, not asking them. We walked the magician's path together, and in so doing, shared much of our lives. When people are so close, there is strain, a warping of relations, you might say. Yet this has nothing to do with the case at hand.
By which you mean you're not going to tell us. Which makes me wonder even more about this reason they couldn't refuse. Well, let's get on with the testimony for starters. The defendant, Zach Gregory, stands accused. Tell us why.
Oh, I'll do more than that. For where he walks, the red roses rise, singing hymns to the miracle that is magic.
Fascinating. Though I hardly need to remind you that the evidence could just as clearly point to you as the suspect. The letter, the murder weapon, and now the 2 bullets found at the scene? In fact, the only difference seems to be the designated time.
As every magician knows, timing is everything. Yes. And now it's time to get this party fired up!
Yeah, baby.
Yeah, baby. That night, I visited the hospital room at the time Magnifi requested. The smell of gunpowder hung in the room, and my mentor had taken his final bow. I did not imagine my fellow student might have received the same instructions. Yet a deal with the dead is still a deal. Deaths sweet kiss I gave to the clown. Then I informed the doctor and the police.
So you were the one who reported the crime.
Indeed, I would think. This fact alone would clear my name of suspicion.
Let's not jump to any conclusions. Yes, the cross-examination generally comes before the conclusion in this court. But if your testimony proves to be true, then the defendant, Zach Ramrier, is guilty. And if it wasn't Zach Ramrier, then the killer was you, Valant. And no disappearing act will get you out of that.
I'm gonna do this cross-examination in
The next episode.
I apologize, this episode of Apologize to Ace Attorney Phoenix Straight, Ace Attorney Part 4. Make sure to like, subscribe, bell, which is
Every single day.
bye.